Good morning all. So today we are going to see one important organ in the abdominal cavity, and that is the liver. So let us start with the introduction of the liver. The liver, it is also called as hepar, and from which we have the adjective hepatic, which is applied to many structures which are connected or concerned with the organ liver. Now liver, it is largest gland in the body. It is the largest gland in the body, and in living it is reddish brown in color. If you see the liver in living person, it is reddish brown in the color. It is soft in consistency and it is very friable. Now coming to the weight of the liver. The weight of the liver in male, it is about 1600 gram, whereas in female it is about 1300 gram. Yeah. So this is just an introduction of the liver. The other name of the liver is hepar, and therefore we can use the adjective hepatic. It is the largest gland in the body. It is reddish brown in color, soft in consistency and very friable, and its weight is about 1600 gram in male and about 1300 gram in female. With this introduction of the liver, let us come to the situation of the liver in the abdominal cavity. Now to go for the situation, before going to the proper situation of the liver in the abdominal cavity, we will go to first the 9 regions of the anterior abdominal wall, so that we can go easily to the situation of the liver. So to see the 9 region, this is the anterior abdominal wall. This anterior abdominal wall, it is divided into 9 regions by means of 4 planes, 2 vertical planes and 2 horizontal planes. The 2 horizontal planes, the one plane is the transpyloric plane. The another horizontal plane is transtubercular plane, and the 2 vertical planes, these are the right and left lateral planes. Yeah. So this is transpyloric plane. This transpyloric plane, it passes anteriorly through the tips of 9th costal cartilage, and posteriorly it passes through the L1 vertebra, lower border of L1 vertebra. The another plane, that is transtubercular plane, it passes through the tubercles of the iliac crest, and posteriorly it passes through the upper border of L5 vertebra. The 2 vertical planes, these are the right and left lateral planes. These planes, they passes through the mid-inguinal point and crosses the tip of 9th costal cartilage. Now with the help of these 4 planes, the whole abdominal area, it is divided into 9 regions. That is the right and left hypochondrium. So this is hypochondrium, right and left hypochondrium. Then these are the right and left lumbar region. So these are right and left lumbar, and the lower down, these are the right and left iliac region. So these are right and left iliac region. In between, here lies the umbilicus, and these 3 regions are epigastrium, umbilical region and hypogastrium. Clear? So this is epigastrium, this is umbilical region, and lower down this is hypogastrium. Now we can come to the situation of the liver. The liver, it is situated in the right upper quadrant of the abdominal cavity, and it occupies whole of the right hypochondrium, major part of the epigastrium, and it extends to a small extent to the left hypochondrium up to the left lateral line. So to draw the situation of the liver, so first we will go to the costal margins. So this is the xiphoid process. This is the right costal margin and this is the left costal margin. Now let us come to the liver. So this is the position of the liver in the right upper part of the abdominal cavity. So you can see the liver, it is situated in the right upper quadrant of the abdominal cavity. It is occupying whole of the right hypochondrium, greater part of the epigastrium, and it extends into left hypochondrium reaching up to the left lateral line. Thus, most of the portion of the liver, it is covered by the ribs and costal cartilages. Some portion, that is the upper part of the epigastrium, this portion in the epigastrium, it is not covered by the ribs and costal cartilages and it is coming in direct contact with the anterior abdominal wall. Yeah? So this is the situation of the liver. Now coming to the external features of the liver. So let us go for the external features. Now the liver, we can compare it with the four-sided pyramid which is laid on one side. If you see the liver, it is wedge-shaped structure and we can easily compare it with the four-sided pyramid which is laid on one side. So let us go for the four-sided pyramid so that we can see all the features of the liver. So to go for the four-sided pyramid, we will go to this simple diagram and this will represent the liver. So this is the four-sided pyramid and it represents the liver. Now in this you can see there are 5 surfaces. So the liver has 5 surfaces and these are anterior surface. This is the anterior surface, posterior surface, superior surface, inferior surface and the right lateral surface. Liver has 5 surfaces: anterior, posterior, superior, inferior and right lateral. So this is the anterior surface of the liver. This becomes the anterior surface. Then this becomes the posterior surface of the liver. This is the superior surface of the liver. This is the inferior surface of the liver and this is the right lateral surface of the liver. So this is the anterior surface. This becomes the posterior surface. This is the superior surface. This is the inferior surface and this is the right lateral surface of the liver. Now out of these all surfaces, the inferior surface is well defined because the inferior border, it is very sharply demarcated anteriorly. Now this complete is the anterior border. This complete is the anterior border. This is the anterior portion of inferior border. This is the anterior portion of inferior border. This is the posterior portion of inferior border and this is the right portion of inferior border and this is the left portion of inferior border. Now out of this, the anterior portion of the inferior border, it is very well marked, and therefore inferior surface, it is well defined. The other surfaces, that is the anterior, posterior, superior and right lateral surface, they are more or less continuous with each other, because all other borders, they are ill-defined and rounded. They are not sharply demarcated. Therefore, all other surfaces, they are more or less continuous with each other. Now let us go to the inferior sharp border. The inferior border, it is sharp anteriorly, and here it is responsible for separating the anterior surface from the inferior surface. This is the anterior portion which is sharp, and it separates the anterior surface from the inferior surface. It becomes somewhat rounded on the right lateral side, and here it separates the right lateral surface from the inferior surface. On the right lateral side, here it becomes little rounded, and here it separates the right lateral surface from the inferior surface. Now in the epigastrium, the inferior border, it extends from the left 8th costal cartilage to the right 9th costal cartilage. On the right side, it is little down. So it is extending from the left 8th costal cartilage to the right 9th costal cartilage. Then the sharp anterior part of the inferior border, it is marked by two markings. One is the interlobar notch. Interlobar notch, which is meant for ligamentum teres, and another is the cystic notch, which is meant for the fundus of the gallbladder. So this is cystic notch, which is meant for the fundus of the gallbladder. Now if we taking the base of this four-sided pyramid, if we draw the lever, so if we go for the anterior aspect of the lever, so this is the lever, and we can compare it with this four-sided pyramid. This becomes the anterior aspect of the inferior border if we compare with this. So it is marked by two markings, interlobar notch. So this becomes the interlobar notch, and it is meant for the ligamentum teres. So this is the falciform ligament anteriorly, and this is the ligamentum teres. So this becomes the interlobar notch. Then another marking is the cystic notch, which is meant for the fundus of the gallbladder. So this is the fundus of gallbladder, and this becomes the cystic notch. Yeah. So these are the external features of the lever. So it is vase shape. Compare with the four-sided pyramid. Has 5 surfaces: anterior, posterior, superior, inferior, right lateral. Inferior border is sharp anteriorly, and it is marked by two markings, interlobar notch and the cystic notch. Now coming to the lobes of the lever. The lever, it is divided into right and left lobe. Basically there are two lobes, right and left lobe. To see the division of the lever into the lobes, we will go to the simple diagram of the lever. So this is the anterior aspect of the lever, that is lever seen from the anterior aspect. This is the anterior surface of the lever. This is the falciform ligament, which is attached to the anterior and superior aspect of the lever. This is ligamentum teres. Then we will go to the another view, that is the lever seen from posterior and inferior aspect. So if we see the liver from the posterior and inferior aspect, so this will be the view of the liver. So this is the falciform ligament which goes to the superior surface also, and on the posterior aspect here this is the ligamentum venosum, this is the porta hepatis, this is the ligamentum teres, and this is the groove for the inferior vena cava. So this is the inferior vena cava which is lying in the groove for inferior vena cava, and this is the gallbladder. Yeah. So this is the liver seen from posterior aspect and the inferior aspect. This is the posterior surface of the liver and this is the inferior surface of the liver. So with these two diagrams, let us go for the division of the liver into two lobes, right and left lobe. So liver, it is divided into right lobe and the left lobe. This is the right lobe and this is the left lobe. So anteriorly, the line of demarcation passes through the attachment of the falciform ligament. This is the falciform ligament. Anteriorly, the line of demarcation between the right and left lobe, it passes through the attachment of the falciform ligament. Then inferiorly, the line passes through the fissure for ligamentum teres. This is the fissure for ligamentum teres. Ligamentum teres, which lies on the inferior aspect. So inferiorly, the line of demarcation between the right and left lobe passes through the fissure for ligamentum teres, whereas posteriorly, the line of demarcation passes through the fissure for ligamentum venosum. So this is the fissure for ligamentum venosum. Fissure for ligamentum venosum. Thus, the liver, it is divided into right and left lobe. So anteriorly, the line of demarcation passes through the attachment of falciform ligament anteriorly and superiorly. Then inferiorly, the line of demarcation passes through the fissure for ligamentum teres, and posteriorly it passes through the fissure for ligamentum venosum. Thus the liver get divided into right and left lobe. Now first coming to the right lobe of the liver. The right lobe of the liver, you can see it is much larger than the left lobe and it forms about 5/6 of the liver. So it forms about 5/6 of the total liver. Now this right lobe, it shows or it presents all the surfaces of the liver, all the 5 surfaces of the liver. In addition to all the 5 surfaces of the liver, it presents 3 features, that is the caudate lobe, quadrate lobe and porta hepatis. So the right lobe, it presents 3 features, that is the caudate lobe, quadrate lobe and the porta hepatis. Now let us go to all these features one by one. So first coming to the caudate lobe. Now caudate lobe, it is situated on the posterior aspect of the liver. So this is the posterior surface. Caudate lobe, this is the caudate lobe. This is the caudate lobe of the liver. It is situated on the posterior surface or posterior aspect of the right lobe of the liver, and it is bounded on the right side by groove for inferior vena cava. This is the inferior vena cava which is lying in the groove for inferior vena cava. So on right side it is bounded by the groove for inferior vena cava. On left side it is bounded by the fissure for ligamentum venosum. Inferiorly it is bounded by porta hepatis. This is porta hepatis. So inferiorly it is bounded by porta hepatis and above it is continuous with the superior surface of the liver. Yeah? So this is the caudate lobe which lies on the posterior surface of right lobe of liver. It is bounded on right by the groove for inferior vena cava. On left it is bounded by the fissure for ligamentum venosum. Inferiorly it is bounded by the porta hepatis and superiorly it is continuous with the superior surface. Below and to the right, that means here, it is connected to the rest of the right lobe of the liver. Here you can see this caudate lobe. Below and to the right it is connected to the right lobe of the liver and by a process, and this process it is called as caudate process. It is called as caudate process. Similarly, below and to the left it presents one small rounded elevation and it is called as papillary process. It is called as papillary process. So caudate lobe, it presents two processes. Below and to the right it becomes continuous with the right lobe of the liver and present a process called as caudate process. Below and to the left it shows a small rounded elevation which is called as papillary process. So this is the caudate lobe. Now coming to the another feature, that is the quadrate lobe, which is presented by the right lobe of the liver. The quadrate lobe. Now the quadrate lobe, this is the quadrate lobe. So let us label it as the quadrate lobe. The quadrate lobe, it is situated on the inferior surface. Now this is the inferior surface of the liver. So the quadrate lobe, it is situated on the inferior surface of the right lobe of the liver. It is almost rectangular in shape and therefore it is called as quadrate. That means quadrangular. It is bounded anteriorly by the inferior border. Posteriorly it is bounded by porta hepatis. This is porta hepatis. On the right side it is bounded by the fossa for the gallbladder. Now this is the gallbladder which is lying in the fossa for the gallbladder. So on right side it is bounded by the fossa for the gallbladder and on left side by the fissure for ligamentum teres. This we have already seen. So this is the quadrate lobe. It is quadrangular in shape, lying on the inferior surface of the right lobe of liver, and it is bounded anteriorly by the inferior border, posteriorly by the porta hepatis, on right by the fossa for the gallbladder, and on left by the fissure for ligamentum teres. Now coming to the third structure, that is the porta hepatis. Now porta hepatis, this is the porta hepatis, we have already labeled it. So porta hepatis, it is a deep transverse fissure which is situated on the inferior surface of the right lobe of the liver, and it is about 5 cm long. Yeah? It lies between caudate lobe above and the quadrate lobe below. So this is the porta hepatis. Its margin give attachment to the lesser omentum. Now porta hepatis, it is a deep fissure through which some structures enter the liver and some structures leave the liver. The structures which are entering through the porta hepatis in the liver are portal vein, hepatic artery and hepatic plexus of nerves. These structures enters the liver through porta hepatis. The structures which are leaving the liver through the porta hepatis are hepatic ducts and some few lymphatics. Yeah. So porta hepatis, it is nothing but a fissure through which some structures enter and some structures come out of the liver. The structures entering are portal vein, hepatic artery, hepatic plexus of nerves. The structures which are leaving, they are the hepatic ducts and the few lymphatics. Now among all these structures, the main structures, that is portal vein, hepatic artery and hepatic duct, they have specific relation within the porta hepatis. And if you go from behind forward, these are the portal vein, hepatic artery and bile duct. Yeah. So these three structures, this is the portal vein. This red color hepatic artery and this green color hepatic duct. So if you go from posterior to anterior side, they are portal vein, hepatic artery and hepatic duct. So this is about the porta hepatis. So what we have seen, that liver, it is divided into right and left lobe. Right lobe is much larger than the left lobe and it presents all the 5 surfaces. Also it presents 3 main structure, that is caudate lobe and the porta hepatis. Caudate lobe, it is situated on the posterior aspect of the liver. We have seen its margins. Caudate lobe, it is situated on the posterior surface. Caudate lobe, it is situated on the inferior surface of the liver, and porta hepatis, it is situated also on the inferior surface. Now coming to the left lobe of the liver. The left lobe of the liver, so this is the left lobe. You can see it is much smaller than the right lobe and it forms only 1/6 of the liver, and it is flattened from above downwards, and it is not presenting all the surfaces of the liver, but its inferior surface, it shows a rounded elevation near the ligamentum venosum. This is the left lobe. This is its inferior surface. The inferior surface of the left lobe, it shows a rounded elevation near the ligamentum venosum, and this elevation, it is called as tuber omental. It is called as tuber omental. It is also called as omental tuberosity. The name is given because this tuberosity, it is coming in relation with the lesser omentum, and therefore the name is given tuber omental. So this is about the right and left lobe of the liver. Thus we have seen the situation, external features and the lobes of the liver. Thank you.